Hello, today we shall be dealing with edema. 60% of the total body weight is the body water, which is distributed as extracellular part and two-third part is the intracellular. Extracellular is further divided into the plasma and the interstitial fluid. It is the accumulation of this interstitial fluid which when becomes evident clinically is referred to as edema. It could be gross generalized, known as anasarca, or when its accumulation is excess in the peritoneal cavity, it is known as ascites and known as hydrothorax if it is accumulated in pleural cavity. What leads on to its development is actually there is a constant exchange of the fluid between the plasma and the interstitial fluid because of the hydrostatic pressure within the capillaries and the oncotic pressure of the interstitium. This movement is prominent at the arterial end, declines in the capillaries, and then tapers off at the venous end. The intravascular volume is maintained because of the transfer of fluid from the interstitium into the vascular space by the lymphatics. Hence, any time when there is abnormalities in this movement will lead on to the development of edema. The causes could be divided as when there is an increase in the intracapillary hydrostatic pressure, decrease in the oncotic pressure, lymphatic obstruction, damage to the capillary endothelial barrier, and increase in the oncotic pressure in the interstitial space. Enlisting the conditions which leads on to the increased hydrostatic pressure. It may occur due to impaired venous return or arteriolar dilatation. Venous return is impaired in congestive heart failure, constrictive pericarditis, ascites, any venous obstruction of an individual of thrombosis, external pressure from outside, or prolonged immobility. Arteriolar dilatation is noted in cases of heat or when there is a neurohumoral dysregulation. Second cause is when there is a decrease in the plasma colloidal oncotic pressure, that is the hypoproteinemia, which may occur in glomerulonephropathies, liver cirrhosis, protein-losing gastroenteropathy, or malnutrition. Thirdly, the cases of lymphatic obstruction, which may be noted post-neoplastic, post-surgical, post-irradiational, or maybe inflammatory. Third causes include sodium retention, which occurs when there is excessive salt intake with renal insufficiency states, or there is an increased reabsorption of sodium from the tubules, which occurs because of renal hypoperfusion or increased RAS activity. Edema may also occur due to the inflammation, which could be acute, chronic, or increased angiogenesis in that tissue. Edema could be pitting or non-pitting type. Pitting is when it is recognized by the persistence of the indentation of skin after pressure. Even it could be localized or generalized. Localized is noted in cases of thrombophlebitis, varicose veins, lymphatic obstruction, like for local lymph node resection, filariasis, or chronic lymphangitis conditions. Localized edema occurs due to the increase in the capillary hydrostatic pressure proximal to the obstruction, which causes increase in the shift of the fluid from the vascular space to the interstitium. For generalized edema, the cause may be cardiac, hepatic, renal, or some nutritional disorders. In an individual where the cause of edema is characteristic, like the causes may be congestive heart failure, what leads to its development is because of the heart failure, this is systolic contraction abnormality, which leads on to the decreased cardiac output. Hence, blood flow to the kidney is reduced, which stimulates the RAS system, which in turn causes retention of the sodium and water, which causes increased blood volume and resulting into the edema. The person will be characterized by dyspnea, rales, In lab investigations, he'll be having elevated natriuretic peptides, while on X-ray and other echo, he'll be having ventricular hypertrophy. If the cause of edema in an individual is renal, the cause may be chronic renal failure or nephrotic syndrome. The mechanism for the renal failure is it directly causes retention of sodium and water, resulting onto the edema. While for nephrotic syndrome, the cause is this decreased plasma albumin, hence decrease in the oncotic pressure, leading on to the development of edema. The person of chronic renal failure will be characterized by hematuria, proteinuria, and hypertension. In lab, he'll be having increased serum creatinine levels with hyperkalemia and metabolic acidosis. With a nephrotic syndrome condition, he'll be having preorbital edema, proteinuria more than 3.5 gram per deciliter, albumin levels decreased, and cholesterol level increased. For persons with the hepatic cause, the mechanism will be through the decreased plasma albumin and decrease in the plasma oncotic pressure. Individual will be having ascites, low blood pressure, signs of other chronic liver diseases. In lab, he'll be having increased liver enzymes and reduced albumin levels. Even there are some drugs which leads on to the development of edema, which include steroids, NSAIDs, antihypertensives, and calcium channel blockers, with even arteriolar vasodilators and growth hormones. This slide explains about cerebral edema. It is divided into cytotoxic edema and vasogenic edema. Cytotoxic edema, it occurs when there is a failure of the sodium-potassium pump, while in vasogenic edema, there is increase in the capillary permeability. Hence, in cytotoxic edema, there is an influx of the fluid inside the brain cells. Hence, the cells become swollen. While in vasogenic edema, there is an influx of the fluid into the interstitial space, hence leading on to the increased extracellular fluid. In cytotoxic edema, the blood-brain barrier is intact while it is disrupted here. It occurs because of conditions of infarction, while vasogenic, it occurs after trauma, in tumors, or in late stages of ischemia. In vasogenic edema, mostly white matter is affected, while in cytotoxic edema, it involves both the cortex and the white matter. There are some particular sites for particular conditions, mostly in individuals. Like for heart failure, the edema is mostly seen in bilateral lower limbs. Nephrotic syndrome, the sites are eyelids and face. For lymphatic obstruction, the site is unilateral lower limbs or even maybe upper limb. And for superior vena cava syndrome, the edema is confined to face, neck, and upper extremities. Treatment includes the treatment of the underlying cause, maybe heart failure, liver cirrhosis, or some renal pathologies. Other could include limb elevation, calories and protein-rich diet for some nutritional defects, and cautious use of drugs. Thank you.